Devasana on the 18th of July, 1979. It is not possible for a practitioner who has transcended dukkha not to have encountered questions and problems which he must investigate, analyze, and solve. It is not possible to tread on the path without running into any questions. This is only with the exception of Kippa Pinya, those who can realize quickly. But for the ordinary practitioner, there must be questions and problems which he will have to analyze, probe into, and solve. He will have to figure them out in many and various ways. His mind will have to be turning like the Dhammajaka, the wheel of Dhamma. Then this is possible. When one has stepped into the realm of Panya, then this is the way it has to be. With the development of Samadhi, one must depend on Sati to control and master the Citta. When there is no Sati, the Citta will begin to conceive and think. The conceptions of the Citta are the pictures that deceive oneself. They make one obsessed and deluded with them, although they are just shadows. The real producer or creator of these pictures is within the Citta, but the shadows go outside and fool us. Then we become obsessed with these shadows. This is the way with every practitioner. If the practitioner does not know about these things, then his Citta will not be able to find any calm. He has to be observant and watchful of his Citta. If one has Sati, then when one begins to concoct, then one will be able to feel that there is something pushing out before this concoction can come about. But one doesn't know this because it only comes out at the times when one is absent-minded. During the time that we do not have any mindfulness, then however it concocts, we will not know. We only realize it after this concoction and conception has come about. We then become deluded with this conception, which is merely a shadow. All of these conceptions of the various kinds of affairs and business, about this and about that, comes about due to the concoction of sankhara that continuously conceives up the various stories. It keeps on thinking without end, and we become deluded with these shadows, and the building up of the various kinds of business and affairs from them. We think that we are sitting in bhavana, but really, we are just being deluded with our aramana, for we are not sitting watching at the point where the aramana are created, and where the various concepts and stories come about. Sati is not found at that point. So how can the Citta find any calm? You must get to understand this point very well. This is the way it really is, and it happened to me, so I already know about it. If I didn't know, how could I talk about it? At the level of developing calm, we must focus at the point where concocting begins. This concocting is really just disturbances and the things that incite us. Sati is the factor that takes notice of things. It should be established with the citta, so that it can take cognizance of the concocting of the citta and the thinking. One must not speculate or theorize as if the world doesn't exist. One should merely be aware right at that point. All there is then is just the knowingness that is being focused right at that point. There is only the attention to see what the citta is concocting about. One should be concentrating at that point. If one is doing the parigama, then one should be only aware of the parigama object. One just keeps on concocting up the parigama object. This kind of sankhara is not samudaya, for this is the magga. There is a difference between them, because this kind of concocting is not for the building up of restlessness and agitation, but it is for the sake of calm. It is used to curb the various kinds of trains of thoughts and associations of ideas, which lead one to become restless and agitated. Dhamma doesn't make one become restless and agitated, but the aramana of the world can make people upset and worked up. When the citta thinks in the way of the world and samsara, then this becomes samudaya. No matter how much it thinks, it will never come to an end, and it will never be satiated. It will keep on thinking and concocting, and it will keep on deceiving oneself. It will constantly keep on deceiving one, both day and night, without imparting one any benefit at all. We are intent on seeking for profit and benefit, so we must therefore firmly establish our sati. We have to concentrate our attention right at that point. If we are repeating the parigama object, then we should be solely aware of that object. This is the stage of developing calm, and this is the way that we must do it. The one who has some calm must then begin to think of the various techniques of panya. By taking the parts of the body as the investigation, there are the 32 parts of the body, and this is the aspect of rupa. On the aspect of vedana, there is sukha, dukkha, and neutral, both that of the heart and that of the body. We must do it in whichever way we think can become panya. When the citta calms down, that is when the kilesas calm down. This is when the kilesas converge within. The citta can then come to calm, for it is not seeking or hankering after this or that thing, like an ordinary citta, which cannot come up with any calm. Once the citta has attained to calm, then this calm can become a basis or a foundation. It will provide one with enough room to breathe. It will allow one some room to maneuver, so that one can come up with some ease and comfort. When there is no calm, then there is restlessness and agitation. One is constantly disturbing oneself with the various kinds of affairs and the various kinds of business. One just keeps on feeding oneself with poisons. one keeps feeding these poisons into the heart, and the result that we have to experience is dukkha or hardship, mixed with worries and anxiety, perturbation and nervousness. One just constantly keeps feeding oneself with these poisons. But when the citta has gained some calm, then it will be cool. All of these trains of thoughts will all steadily fade away. When we know that such is the way, then we must keep on developing our sati. When we have gained enough calm, and when the time to investigate with panya is appropriate, then we must investigate. We can use the external things as the object of our investigation. This can be done, as I have previously explained. This is not wrong. It can be either a form of a man, or a woman, or an animal, or any people. Both the external and internal forms can be compared, because they are similar. They are similar in the aspect of filth, particular, or in the aspect of anicca, impermanence, or the dissolution of the body, or death, or the state of change. This is true with everyone's body. The citta ceaselessly revolves, turning around in its work of investigation and contemplation, for this is panya.